Welcome back to the Human Reviews channel. Today we have a new Bruno Mars album, The Romantic. I just got done listening to the new Gorillaz album, The Mountain. That album was pretty good, you know? It's their best album, well, their best album since Song Machine, which is only 2 albums ago. It's a big improvement on Cracker Island is what I'm trying to say. But now we're listening to Bruno Mars, The Romantic. This album I am excited about. Just earlier today, I re-listened to... Oh, fucking hell, almost knocked my light over. Just earlier today, I re-listened to Silk Sonic, his collaboration album with Anderson .Paak on stream, and oh my god, that album is so good. Tasteful instrumentals taken from, like, some classic R&B, classic soul and shit like that, working in little elements of rap here and there. Beautiful. Beautiful-ass album. I fucking love that album. And I'm a big fan of later-era Bruno Mars in general. I think he's one of the more creative pop artists out there. I think that all of his, like, I guess, like, latter half of the 2010s into the 2020s hits are great. I think he's a fantastic songwriter, a charismatic performer. I am a big Bruno Mars glazer. I don't think that everything he does is the greatest thing on the planet. He does have some stinkers, but I personally am partial to Bruno Mars. Now, there is an interesting caveat here. The album is not being very well received. It's got a fucking 6.7 based on only 250 ratings. The Americans haven't gotten the album yet. It's only 2 a.m. in the UK, so the Americans don't have it yet. But people are mixed on the album. Now, I was a big fan of I Just Might. That single was fire. That single was really good. So I'm going into this with high hopes, but worried that I'm going to be disappointed. The album's 9 tracks, 31 minutes. I need to sit here and complain. Why does Bruno Mars only make short-ass albums? He puts out an album once every, like, 5 years, and then they're, like, 30 minutes. I need more content. I need more content. Anyway, enough complaining about the length of his albums. Let's get into this shit. Track 1, Risk It All. Oh. Okay. To win your heart, you could set the bar. Want to be British so you can listen to Bruno Mars early? You already can't stand this by a minute into the album, he's already out. Unlucky. Wanting to be British so you can listen to Bruno Mars early is like taking 1 decent buff for 500 run-killing debuffs. Alright. Okay, this immediately is so different to I Just Might. Oh my god. It's nice, though. It's pleasant. Yeah, it's not as instantaneous as Silk Sonic at all, but still, this is sweet. Now, is it up to the same level of quality as I Just Might? No. But does this have me worried like all of the negative reviews did? Also, no. This is a decent opener. I'm feeling a solid 7 on this. Some nice, you know, Mexican-sounding ass instrumentation with some of the guitars throughout this, the great horns as well. Bruno Mars bringing a very soft but still charming as hell vocal performance, as I would expect from him. The writing, maybe not the most interesting. The production, maybe a little flat. But you know what? It's a sweet opener, and I am praying to Christ that the album stays at the bare minimum this level of quality. Please don't let the people of the internet be right. Please let this album be good. Next up we have Cha Cha Cha. Has this got Lazy Song too? If this was real shit, it would. But unfortunately, it's not, so it doesn't. Very tight sounding snare. Even though it's just rim shots, that's still super tight sounding. This chorus is not very good. This chorus kind of sucks. The cha-cha-cha with me while I cha-cha-cha with you bullshit. Corny. Corny as fuck. But this instrumental's still sweet, and the decent first verse. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Listen, my goat is not washed. I swear. My goat is not washed. It's just this is a bad chorus. So you got some nice sparkly production here. Ooh, okay. Subtle switch up. Not the most overstated. But man, this sounds sweet as hell. This is pretty good. Like, it's not mind-blowing or anything like that, but man, this is satisfying as hell. Thoughts on Uptown Funk? I don't like that song. It's one of Bruno Mars' weaker tracks. I guess it's not even really a Bruno Mars track. You know, it's a Mark Ronson song featuring Bruno Mars. So technically, it's not an L against him. You know, it's a Mark Ronson L. Anyway, Cha Cha Cha, fun song. Feeling like another solid 7 on this. Rough chorus, but this instrumental, beautiful. Such nice, tight sounding percussion. Great, like very slightly understated, but still incredibly sweeping switch up that the track goes through in the final third there. I think that Bruno Mars as a performer here, again, subtle, a little bit softer than he usually is, but still so charismatic, bringing so much of that Silk Sonic aura to the table still. Man, the song has its problems, but it still kind of slaps, okay? It still kind of slaps. I Just Might up next. This song is great. I already know this song is good. Oh my god, it's peak. This song's grown on me since I first heard it, honestly. I hated these woo-woo-woos on a first listen, but coming back to it, it's so dumb. It's evidently intentional. It's so fun. It's so fun. Sounds like Liam Gallagher. Never diss my goat Bruno Mars like that ever again. Song's a high 8 for me. I originally would have given it a flat 8. Now it's like an 8.8. Maybe, honestly, maybe like 2 or 9. As of right now, I'll give it an 8.8. I need to give it one more listen with album context before I commit to like giving it a 9. But, oh my god, this song... It's just everything I love about a Bruno Mars track, about a lot of his stronger tracks, in my opinion, with the added, like, you know, fucking hell, my brain just completely froze. With the added charm of having the live instrumentation, with everything here feeling so authentic, in a similar way to a lot of the stuff on Silk Sonic did, where it was very cheesy, but still had a lot of charm, a lot of aura. I describe that album as like the album with the most aura of the 2020s. He's bringing a lot of that attitude to this track. Yeah, this is just so fun. It's not like reinventing the wheel. There's a lot of stuff in here, melodically speaking and lyrically speaking as well, that does feel a little just standard Bruno Mars. But standard Bruno Mars is better than most pop acts of his stature, to be honest. Exactly. Lyrics aren't his forte. It's all about, does the instrumental sound good, and how much aura does he have? And the instrumental sounds great, and he has a lot of fucking aura. That's all I can ask for with a Bruno Mars song, to be honest. God was showing off. These lyrics are incredibly flat, but my god, this instrumental... It's so smooth. Yeah, he always brings a great vocal performance no matter what. You know, while I maybe would have preferred the album to have not felt like it was trying to replicate so much of Silk Sonic, like this album feels very much like Bruno Mars trying to make a successor to Silk Sonic. I would have maybe preferred a little bit of a different instrumental direction, but considering how much I love the sound of that album, I can't complain too much when it's being replicated with a degree of competency that honestly doesn't make it like as good as that album, but makes for songs that are enjoyable in a lot of similar ways. I still think that these instrumentals are smooth as hell. I still think that these performances are some of his most charismatic, even compared to like some of his later 2010 stuff. Again, like, I'm not absolutely in love with every second of this. It's not like Bruno Mars providing like a mind-blowing project that's like, holy shit, he's completely changing up his sound or anything like that. It's him doing his thing and doing it just as well as he has been on his most recent projects. I can't complain too much. Instrumental's great. Love the big bombastic stabs throughout this track. I love just how over the top his performance gets here. I love how much he just leans into, in a similar way to how he does on Silk Sonic again. I love how he just leans into and acknowledges the silliness of like a Bruno Mars track and the lyrical content and stuff like that. It's very evidently quite self-referential, and this track is not taking itself too seriously in the slightest, and I really appreciate that. This one I'd give like a flat 8 to. Honestly, this is another song I'd see myself coming back to a little bit. Good shit. Man, people are hating on this album, okay? The people who say this album is mid are wrong, okay? Maybe the second half is where the duds show up. Oh, that's what I'm terrified about. We still have over half the album to go. If the album nosedives, it's over. My goat is washed. But the first half of this album's been really good, so my goat is not washed. Isn't it crazy that the most streamed artists in the world don't have more than 5 albums overall, even if they have like a 15-year-long career? I mean, I feel like Bruno Mars is one of the exceptions to that. Like, Taylor Swift has tons of albums. Someone like Drake and Kendrick have like plenty of albums under their belt. How many albums does Ariana Grande have? She has a good few, doesn't she? The greatest album cover of all time? That'll probably be a topic video at some point. I'm going to listen to Mitski maybe tomorrow. I'm not going to do that tonight because it's fucking 20 past 2 in the morning. The Mountain or The Romantic so far? The Mountain. I'd say The Mountain. The Mountain is just more adventurous and more ambitious and more musically varied, but this album is really enjoyable as well. Why You Wanna Fight up next? Why you wanna fight with me, baby? You want me knocking on the door, crying in the rain. I was wrong. Ooh. Stop playing when we come back home. Why you wanna fight? It's nice to get a little bit of a slower song here. Michael Jackson or Bruno Mars? I'd get so much shit if I gave my answer to that question. Genuinely speaking, you ask me who I would rather listen to, Michael Jackson or Bruno Mars? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick Bruno Mars. Okay, 9 times... Listen, in terms of what I would casually listen to, I'm not saying Bruno Mars is a better artist than Michael Jackson, but in terms of what I would casually listen to, I would pick Bruno Mars, okay? Remember the Thriller comments? God, I'm going to get fucking drawn and quartered again, aren't I? It's like when I give Thriller an 8 out of 10 and everyone called me racist. Yeah, I think so. The album is very different to what I expected so far. Like, Silk Sonic, for the most part, is a chill album. It has its more upbeat tracks like Skate and 777 and shit like that. But this feels more in line with like the slower moments on that album, but like even more low-key. This album is trying to be chill as fuck. And it's succeeding. You'd say the reason why people seem to be more mixed with the album is because they wanted something more bombastic like 24K Magic. Yeah, it feels like, especially with what I just might kind of advertised. I was assuming that the album was going to be not like as upbeat and as colorful and poppy as a lot of his late 2010 stuff, but I was assuming we were going to get something a little more immediate than this. I'm not going to complain that this is less immediate. I think that this has been executed very tastefully so far, but it is very different to what I expected. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, these new Beatles videos are fun. New Beatles videos are fun. People clearly don't value the power of slow dance and music. Exactly. Why You Wanna Fight? Such a charming track, man. Feeling another low 8 on this one. This might end up getting a higher score than the Gorillaz album, dude. I'm like really liking this album so far. It's just chill as fuck. The performances from Bruno Mars are great. From every single instrumentalist on this album as well. He's just crafting such nice, relaxing soundscapes that, again, aren't the most impressive thing in the world, that, again, feel like retreading a little bit of the same ground that Silk Sonic did, but it's still done just as tastefully. The performances are still all the way there. The writing, it's, Bruno Mars type writing. It's, not going to be the most impressive thing on the planet, but it's not like offensively bad or anything. Everything here is just chill as fuck. I'm liking this, man. I'm really liking this. On my soul. Ooh. See, this is a little bit more what I was expecting. Ooh. Oh, man. And they said Bruno wasn't making high energy music. I know. Just turning up the energy is so much with this one. It's welcome, though. And these guitar parts across this album have been so great. Like, the energy is just so fucking infectious. I'd love to see a full album of, like, more upbeat cuts like this in this style. Oh my god, I don't understand the reception of this album. This is so good. Feeling another solid 8 on this song, dude. This shit is firing on all cylinders. Oh my god. This instrumental, I just love how energetic it is. I love how over the top it is, and how much, again, it just leans into and is aware of how just goofy Bruno Mars can be, and it's just allowing itself to go all in on that. It's so fucking infectious. He's having so much fun with this track, having so much fun creating this super sprawling instrumental and playing about in this space, cranking up the tempo. And that comes through so easily. This song is so damn fun because him as a performer is able to just lock you into exactly the tone that he wants. He's very commanding in that way, in that any tone he wants to create, something more somber, something more goofy, something more upbeat, something that's hype as fuck like this, he can do such a good job at just locking you right into that just with his vocal performance. And add on top of that, you have a great band creating a great instrumental palette for this track. It's an easy win. I don't understand the reception of this album. This shit is really good. Something serious. My god, dude. The fucking bed creaking sounds. You're taking the piss. That's so silly. I kind of love it, though. It took me too long to notice that. Oh, shit. Fade out, come on. Weak way to finish. 0 out of 10 song. Ruined. I'm not crazy on this fade out, but you know what? The rest of that song fucking slapped. I'm surprised that he's cranking up the tempo with the back half of this album. I thought this was going to stay as like a smooth, low-key, slower project, and then he's just decided to allow the album to crank up the tempo, crank up the energy, and get a little more hype. And I'm not complaining about that. These past two songs have both been pretty fucking excellent. This one's like a solid to high 8. Good shit. Like, I love how just bombastic and chaotic this one was. Everything from the delayed, the big, massive stabs on this one, just how loud and colorful everything gets. This one has the most personality out of any of the songs so far, in my opinion. This one, he really is going hard on this one. Even the writing is super likable. And again, like I said, the writing has not been this album's strong suit. But he really does provide some actually pretty likable lyrics and a couple lines that had me, grinning a little bit throughout this. Already down to the final two. Nothing left up next. Okay. Okay, we're getting a serious one. Okay, now we got When I Was Your Man. Yeah, it's like When I Was Your Man if it was a good song. He's actually doing a good job at having a more serious track here. The production's a little too flat to carry this guitar solo. Yeah, a nice approach to a slower, more somber track here. The emotions feel very tangible. The writing, while not incredible, is quite engaging here. I think that Bruno Mars, as a performer, is able to strike a very nice balance between the more goofy shit, the more likable, charismatic, over-the-top personality that he's presented on other tracks, and then bringing it down a little bit and getting a little more grounded, even with still having a very, boisterous vocal performance, hitting crazy notes and having wild melodies and shit like that. It still feels a little more human, and it still feels like the album is able to bring itself down to a level of moodiness that matches what this track needs to actually work. The production is a little too flat to carry some of the instrumental moments. The guitar solo sounds kind of rough. But honestly, all in all, I think this song is a great attempt at doing something a little slower on this album. Something that I wouldn't imagine would have worked, but actually ended up coming out pretty strong in the end. Yeah, this one is a low 8 for me. How's the album's been so far? The Gorillaz album was really good. And surprisingly, the Bruno Mars album is better. This shit slaps. This is really good. Final track, Dance With Me. Will this be a cover of the Justin Timberlake song? No, it will not. It goes Victoria. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Space Ashes. Okay. Was not expecting him to go all the way up there in his registry. Wow. New Bruno Mars solo album before GTA 6. Let's see if we can get another one in. Least favorite song on the album, but not a bad closer. Yeah, this is far from my favorite. This track's sweet. It's got a nice swelling instrumental. It's carrying over some of the more sincere, sentimental qualities of the previous track. Not a song that I'd necessarily find myself returning to. I do find this track to maybe be a little bit instrumentally simple to a degree where, you know, a lot of the songs have... Jesus Christ, crazy stutter. A lot of the songs have provided very simple ideas, but just the execution has had so much character and so much charm that I've, you know, been able to look past that and just love the overall experience of this album. This one doesn't quite have that. Feels like this one is a little simple and predictable at points, to a point where I'm like, okay, I don't really see any necessity in returning to this because it's not particularly catchy. The emotions, while still pretty strong, aren't hitting me on a level where I feel like I would need to come back and dig more out of this song or anything like that. It just sounds sweet. It's a nice way to top off this album. If I was listening, you know, to the album front to back, I would not skip this at all. But as is, it's certainly a far cry from the strongest. It's a solid 7 for me. Decent way to close, but not a song I'm absolutely in love with or anything like that. It was a good fucking album. This was a good fucking album, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. My goat is not washed. The haters sit there and they say, man, he's washed. This album isn't as good as Silk Sonic. Hey, thank you, Victoria. They say he's washed. They say this isn't as good as Silk Sonic. And look, it's not as good as Silk Sonic. This isn't the strongest Bruno Mars album. But oh my god, this was so much fun. Him bringing over some of these Silk Sonic qualities here. The live instrumentation, the more low-key, chill, relaxed feel that he brings to this album within the first half before getting a couple songs that kind of up the tempo in the back half, give you a little bit more of that sporadic, high-energy, youthful Bruno Mars that you see in his 2010s output. And just how well balanced this album is tonally. It has a lot of sillier cuts. It has a lot of more charming cuts where he's leaning into the character. He's very much playing into the joke and being very self-aware and self-referential. And then the final two songs getting a little bit more serious, a little bit more somber, where it gets more personal, it gets more intimate, it gets to a point where you like the emotions start being a lot more easy to connect to and a lot more tangible throughout these tracks. And I think that balance is what makes this thing work so well. It's tonally flawless. The instrumentals aren't the most creative thing on the planet. I would have maybe liked to have seen him go off in a slightly different direction than just doing a spiritual successor to Silk Sonic. I maybe would have liked a little bit more on the writing front, but honestly, when the instrumentals slap so hard, when the performances are as great as they are, and the production, while not being great, is still as decent as it is, that's a win. That's a win for me. I am going to run the... Where's my phone? There it is. I'm going to run the numbers, and I will tell you what my score for this album is. Sounds about right. I'm feeling an 8.1 out of 10 on this album. It's not a mind-blowing album or anything like that. It's not the greatest album of the year. It's not going to be the best pop album of the decade, you know. But it's Bruno Mars proving that he's still got it, you know. Bruno Mars proving that he can still put out a great solo album. I'm very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with this. This was such a fun listen. And honestly, I can only see this growing more on a casual listen where I'm not, you know, pausing and analyzing the song. I imagine that, you know, this as just like some shit on in the background while I'm playing games or some shit would probably make this grow a decent bit. So we'll see. We will see. Less is more does apply here. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to say something that will piss even more people off. Give me a choice between Bruno Mars and the Beatles. I'm picking Bruno Mars. That's not me joking. That's not me, like, trying to say something outrageous. Genuinely, which would I rather listen to casually? I'm picking Bruno Mars 9 times out of 10. Unless I want to listen to Abbey Road. Straight up. Again, I don't think Bruno Mars is a better artist than the fucking Beatles. But I'm picking Bruno Mars over the Beatles. Okay? In terms of what I would like to listen to casually. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below and how it compares to other Bruno Mars albums for you. Yeah, like and sub if you haven't. We are on our way to 4K. Massive thank you to Space Ashes for editing this video. I greatly appreciate it. Links in the description to my Discord, my Album of the Year, my Twitter, and my other channels. Check those out if you haven't. And I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye-bye.